Over the past 3 years, I've been using Thingsfree and a few other popular task managers. But after 3 years, I found that Thingsfree is the greatest task manager I've ever used. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Yoni. I'm a self-taught web developer, and today we're going to be talking about Thingsfree and how I manage my to-do list. Over the past few years, I've used many popular task managers such as Todoist, Apple Reminders, TickTick, and even hacked Notion to be my to-do list for a bit. But after using all these apps, I have found that Thingsfree is one of the greatest task managers you can get if you're all in on the Apple ecosystem. One of my favourite features about Thingsfree is that you're able to control the entire app just with keyboard shortcuts. As I'm sure any productivity nerd knows, if you want to get more done, keyboard shortcuts are your best friend, as the mouse just sucks, and that's why it's Vim, by the way. I was using Notion to manage all my to-dos for a while using Thomas Frank's master task template. Although, when using Notion, I found that Notion was too slow to load quickly on my iPhones or iPad to quickly add in a new task into my inbox. There was just too much friction to add a task to my inbox, and friction is the number one thing that can break or make your productivity. Too much friction to add a task will mean that task will never be added to your to-do list, therefore it's most likely not going to get done. But removing the friction of adding it to your to-do list by using a Siri shortcut or having a fast tab that opens up creates lots of possibility in order for you to more likely get the task done. Notion does have an API now, which is great. I'm definitely very excited to play around with it. But I don't want to go through 5-6 hours of work just to be able to quickly add my task to my inbox. That's why I don't really use Notion these days for my to-do list. But don't get me wrong, I'm definitely excited to play around with the Notion API soon. When Apple launched iOS and iOS 15 updates to reminders, I jumped on a reminders bandwagon faster than you can say reminders. I tried to use reminders for a week or so, but I found there was just too many awful issues for a power user like me. Before we get into the bad, let's first talk about the good, as there's actually quite a bit of good with Apple Reminders. One of my favourite things of Apple Reminders is that you're able to pull all your tasks out of Reminders with Siri shortcuts. Reminders is the only app that lets you do this. I'm pretty sure it's a limitation on Apple, but I would definitely love to see this in Thingsfree. You're also able to have multiple instances of reminders open on your iPad. This means you're able to have reminders in split view, reminders in slide over, and reminders in multiple different places at once. It's just pretty cool you can do this. Reminders also definitely has an amazing looking design on your iPad. More on that later. Reminders' newest features this year also added tags and smart folders, which I'm very excited about and definitely really cool to use in Reminders. But sadly, that's where the good stuff ends and the bad stuff starts to begin. I remember what I said before about Reminders looking beautiful on the iPad? Yeah, that only really holds up for the iPad. On the iPhone and Mac, Reminders just looks awful, especially on the Mac. Come on Apple, update this design already, it's terrible. Reminders also has very limiting power user features, and for a power user like me, very limiting power user features is definitely a big pain. One of my biggest issues of Apple Reminders is the way subtasks work. When the parent task of a subtask is due for a specific day, for some bizarre reason, the subtask will not appear due as today, even if you click on that to do. This really annoys me, as the way I use subtasks is for tasks I need to get done in one sitting, and subtasks just extra steps I need to take to complete that step. Reminders just have lots of small little issues that add up to a huge big issue, which is really annoying, and I can't use Reminders. Those are just some of the other reasons I don't like to use these other to-do list apps, and some of the reasons I love to use Thingsfree. So how do I even use things? Every morning when I sit down on my iPad, the first thing I look at is my today section of things. This is my most important section of things that shows me everything I need to get done for that day and everything I want to get done for that day. For all my aspects of my life, I have areas. Areas of things are just like categories. I have areas for business, school, personal, and video projects. Areas are used to keep track of both projects and tasks. When there is a simple one-off task, such as clean bedroom, I will add that to the personal area inside of things. But when it's a long project, such as redoing bedroom, I will add the project redoing bedroom under the area personal in things. And as I complete each step of that project, I'll be able to tick it off till I slowly complete the entire project. The difference between projects and areas and things is that areas are long-lasting bits of your life, and projects are things that have an end goal in mind. In each project, you were able to have headings to break off each part of your project. This is definitely a really cool feature which I wish things would bring to the area section. Sadly, it's not there. I also like to add emoji to each section area on my to-do list. I do it to stop being looked like from uninspiring corporate software. Each project gets its own emoji so I know exactly what it is with a quick glance. This rule does not apply to video projects though. All video projects get the camera icon next to them so I know they're all video projects. One of the coolest and greatest things about, things, is that it follows the GTD system, getting things done. This means there is an inbox in things. The inbox is great for quickly dumping down any tasks I need to get done into my system. The great thing about the inbox is it only requires the name of the task, you need to add any extra information. At the end of each day, I go through my inbox and move each task to the selected project or area it belongs to. I do not normally assign due dates during my daily review. That typically happens in my weekly review. More on my weekly review soon. The way everything gets added to my inbox on my Mac is by using the shortcut Control Space. Or on my iPhones and iPad, I like to use the shortcut Quick Add Tasks. More on automation of things later. Tags are one of the most amazing features about things. Everyone does tags differently. The way I like to use tags is by showing how long a task will take, how urgent or not urgent a task is, and when the task will take place, and if the task is taking place this week or not. Doing this allows me to see at a glance all the information I need to know about that task. Sadly, on iOS and iPadOS both things, if you want to see tags of a task, you have to click on the actual task. On the Mac, you're able to see all the tags without clicking anywhere. As I mentioned before, I like to do a weekly review. As the name suggests, it's a review you do weekly. But what exactly is a weekly review? A weekly review is a step of tasks you repeat each week. For me, my weekly review consists of cleaning up my drafts inbox, looking over my email, sorting out all my tasks in my to-do list. This is where my this week tag comes into play. Scheduling all calendar events and time blocking time into my calendar, and also going over yearly and monthly goals. A weekly review is great, it allows me to stay on track for the week ahead. One of the greatest things about having a weekly review is I know each day when I wake up, everything I need to get done is already in my to-do list / calendar. Don't need to remember anything in my head, which is great, as the brain is great for coming up with ideas but terrible for storing them. If you've not tried to do a weekly review before, I would definitely recommend trying out a weekly review. As I mentioned quite a bit in this video, I do time blocking. So I'm sure you're wondering, what is time blocking? Time blocking is where you block out a set time in your calendar to work on a certain task. For me, I just block out my entire day, including work and chill. The reason I micromanage my life like this is otherwise I'd end up either watching Netflix all day or coding or working these videos all day. This allows me to have a better work-life balance. Like any nerd, I love my automation. Things 3 is one of the best apps I've used of automation. Things 3 automation is based all around X callback URLs and Siri shortcuts. Things automation allows me to create some pretty cool Siri shortcuts on my iPhone and iPad. Double tap the back of my iPhones, or on my iPhone's home screen and my iPad home screen. My favorite shortcut, Quick Add Tasks. What this does is it pulls up a text box and I'm quickly able to enter in a new task which will be added to my inbox. Each new line is added as a new task to the inbox. This is great as it allows me to quickly get ideas out of my head straight into my inbox. The less friction the better, like I mentioned before. Each video has the exact same steps to complete it. The issue is I don't want to have to re-enter all these steps right into my to-do list again. Therefore, one of my favorite shortcuts is new videos. What this does is it asks for the name of the new video and asks each step I need to go make that new video into my to-do list. This is definitely one of the coolest shortcuts I have. Sadly, I did not come up with the idea or make this one. Credit goes to Christopher Lawley. Before I get into this is one of my latest shortcuts I've just created, which is probably one of my most nerdiest ones yet, but it's pretty cool if you're a nerd. So my school does have a platform for all my schoolwork. The issue is it's just slow and laggy to load. So the other day I spent quite a few hours creating a shortcut that sends all my schoolwork straight to things. The way this works is by using the API which has all my schoolwork. Siri Shortcuts calls the API logged in as me with my cookie, and what it does is it repeats if each separate task gets back, checks an app called Data Jar, and if it's added in the database an app called Data Jar, it won't get added to my to-do list because I don't want any duplicate tasks. But if it has not been added to Data Jar, it'll be added to Data Jar, and it'll be added to Things 3 under the homework project in my schoolwork area with the correct due date and even a URL straight to that task. How cool is that? One of the coolest features iPadOS 13 brought 2 years ago was apps being able to have multiple instances of itself open. Things Free is one of the greatest apps to take advantage of this feature with. I keep things in Slideover all day, every day. I use it in Slideover to quickly check off tasks I do when I'm in other apps, or to quickly change when a task is due, add new tasks to the inbox or anything. Things in Slideover is just great. I keep lots of apps in Slideover, and yes, I am a Slideover addict. As I mentioned before, time blocking is how I plan my whole day. I always want to be able to see all my tasks I've due for that day, and all my calendar events and time blocking events I have in my calendar that day. Therefore, I keep an instance of Things I'm Fantastic out in split view. This just allows me to see everything. It's kind of like a mini dashboard. Also, a little side note here, a cool little thing that iPadOS does is because Fantastical is a lighter grey than Things when it's in dark mode. Things actually gets adjusted to be a lighter grey when it's in split view of Fantastical. I do also like to keep an instance of Things in full screen. The reason I do this is I have an 11-inch iPad Pro, and when I'm planning out my week or day or even looking at my tasks, sometimes it's a bit cluttered having Things and Fantastical next to each other. Therefore, being able to take advantage of the full 11-inch screen space in my iPad Pro is pretty great. As I mentioned before, each week I do my weekly review, and as I said, my weekly review consists of me looking over my email. Sometimes my email has tasks I need to do which I need to add to Things. Therefore, I keep Spark, my email client of choice, next to Things in split view. Sometimes though, I need to get the full contents of the email straight into Things. This is where Mail to Things comes into play. If you go into settings in Things, there is an option to turn on Mail to Things. When you turn this on, you get an email address from Things, and this email address you can forward any email and will be added straight to your inbox in Things. The way this works is that the subject of the email becomes the title of your to-do, and the rest of the email goes into the note sections in Things. A cool little thing that Things does is at the bottom of the note section, it leaves a link you can press on to quickly jump straight back into that email. I'd recommend adding your Mail to Things email address straight to your contact list, as typing in the email address Things gives you every time is a pain, as it's a very long, complicated email address you get. The way Things syncs between all your devices is by using Cloud Sync. You set up Cloud Sync with your email and a password of your choice. Then when you download Things on a new device, you just quickly enter in your email and password, and all your to-dos will sync over. Cloud Sync is pretty great as it's very fast. I've never had any issues with it. It only takes 1 to 2 seconds to update on each device. As I'm sure you've noticed so far, Things is an amazing app, an app which I definitely can't live without at this point. One of the very few cons about Things is that it's only available on the Apple ecosystem. If you're all in on the Apple ecosystem and willing to pay some money, I definitely recommend checking out Things. But if you're not all in on the Apple ecosystem, I've heard Todoist has actually gotten a lot better from the last time I used it, so I definitely recommend checking out Todoist. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy the video, I'm sure you'll love my video from last week. If you're all in on the Apple ecosystem and willing to pay some money, I definitely recommend checking out Things. Thank you for watching and see you later.